Mr. Vice President, defenders of the program and of you say people forget the prism in which you were dealing with post 9/11. Days after that attack, you told late Tim Russert this.
We also have to work sort of the dark side, if you will. We've got to spend time in the shadows and in the intelligence world. It's going to be vital for us to use any means at our disposal, basically, to achieve our objective.
So, Mr. Vice President, we have been attacked. I mean, there's Boston and Fort Hood and other attempts, but not a spectacular attack.
Not a mass casualty
since
attack
9/11.
Right.
So, did the ends justify the means?
Absolutely.
No doubt in your mind.
No doubt in my mind. I'm totally comfortable with it, Brett. I think you've got to remember partly what was going on as well too during this period of time. We had reporting that Al Qaeda was trying to get their hands on nuclear weapons. That they'd been dealing with Pakistanis, who after all have nuclear weapons. We had the anthrax attacks going on here at home. There was every reason to expect there was going to be a follow-on attack. And from our perspective, if you were sitting in my chair, the president's chair, our job is to keep the country safe and secure and go get those guys who hit us on 9/11. And that's exactly what we did. We did what we felt was necessary. The professionals in the intelligence community, especially at the CIA, did one hell of a job, and they deserve our gratitude.
You've been supportive of the Obama administration's use of drones, one of the few things you're supportive of the Obama administration on, but
that's
to take out terrorists. Do you find it disingenuous, their indignation about these techniques, while they're not interrogating many terrorists at all, they're killing them in these strikes?
Well, if we started the drone program, and I think under certain circumstances, depending on the target and so forth, it's the right thing to do. The thing that's worrisome is they are not capturing anybody. They don't have an interrogation program. If they got Zawahiri tomorrow, the current head of Al Qaeda, what would they do with him? I'm perfectly happy to see him dead, but he's a very valuable source of information and intelligence. I think we need first-class intelligence programs. I think that's what we had with respect to the enhanced interrogation program, with the approval of the President and the National Security Council and the lawyers in the Justice Department. It's the right thing to do.
Cheryl Shelley writes on Facebook, had the tactics not been used, what would have happened? What events were prevented?
Well, I think if you look at the examples cited by the former directors, there was a prospective attack on the West Coast, one of the tallest buildings on the West Coast, with a hijacked aircraft that was thwarted by this. There are a number of examples that have been laid out over the years.
I mean, the President talked about it in 2006. Were there others beyond that?
Yeah, look specifically at the statement that was released today by the former directors, Mike Hayden, George Tenet, Porter Goss, where they lay out specifically those things that in their minds, and I think they're the experts, were prevented by virtue of these techniques.
Senator Udall took to the floor today saying a Panetta review says that is, in your words, hooey. He says that there's just not direct linkage to that.
I don't know where he was on 9/11, but he wasn't in the bunker.
The end. You have a lot of critics. Some of them say that you should be behind bars. Colonel Wilkerson, who worked for Secretary Powell, said, we all have to wear the taint Richard Bruce Cheney brought down on us with his full-throated endorsement of inhuman and evil methods of causing pain, humiliation, and harm to other human beings. It's wrong that there's no consequences for those who perpetrated it, and it's wrong that Cheney isn't languishing in a privatized prison somewhere.
I guess you'd have to call him not a fan.
Not a fan.
Not a fan.
Is there anything to the Geneva Convention, to the world rule of law on this issue?
Sure there is, but remember the terrorists were not covered by the Geneva Convention. They were unlawful combatants, and under those circumstances they were not entitled to the normal kinds of courtesies and treatment you would accord to those. Nonetheless, the people we captured, especially the folks that went down to Guantanamo, have been treated very well. The high-value detainees of Al Qaeda, after we'd finished with the interrogation program, all were transferred to Al Qaeda, where many of them are today, being treated very reasonably. We did what we needed to do to keep this country safe. That was our job, and we did it, and I think the agency deserves a lot of credit for it.
Last thing, you think Jeb Bush is going to run?
I don't know.
Do you have a favorite?
I have not signed on with anybody at this point. I don't know, start naming people, or I'll leave somebody out, but I think it's going to be a great campaign year, and I think we're going to win.
Mr. Vice President, thanks for the time.
It's good to